Thank you for joining us for Working Through the Word, a ministry of the Richmond Church of Christ. Let's join our pulpit minister, Mike Johnson, as he brings today's lesson.
You've heard this phrase so many times, you know what it means and you understand it. There is no I in team. I coached the basketball team for Madison Christian Academy for about 10 years. And in preparing for the final year, I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, but I came up with this idea that I put on the shirts for my guys, and it was something that the school began to use. In fact, some of the kids that are in the school now still have that shirt, and they use that theme, I think, with the volleyball team. And I said, wish I'd done it a lot earlier. Kevin and I worked together. Kevin was my scorekeeper for all those years. Ben was on the team for all those years, Ben Thompson. And my theme for that final year was, I win when we win. You can't just have a bunch of individuals running around on a field and go, we're going to win, no doubt, because we got all these guys or all these girls or on the court. It just doesn't work that way. This group of individuals have to figure out a way to be a team. If they can't be a team, the likelihood of winning goes way down. That's why the idea, I win when we win, is something that I wanted to share as a congregation. We want to win. We want to be able, as Paul said, I've fought a good fight, I finished the course, and I kept the faith. Therefore, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness that the Lord our God will give me, but not to me only, to all those who have loved his appearing. Timothy 4, 7 through 8. And I know we want to win. In fact, that's the only thing that makes sense, is to win that. We may lose everything else, but if we win that, we're the winners. I think there is value in considering that I'm going to win when we win. For just a few minutes, think about that concept with me. The Bible uses team language to talk about the church. We're not many members, but one. And individually, members of one another. We are a body. That's team language. Jesus Christ is the head. God gave him to be head over all things to the church, which is his body. A body is a team. Every part has to work. And if it doesn't, there's a problem, and some of us are experiencing body parts that just aren't working like they're supposed to, and the team is getting a little bit hurt. Paul said, 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 2, I have betrothed you to one husband. I've given you as a chaste virgin to Christ. We are the bride of Christ. Now that's a team. A husband and a wife, that's a team. If they don't work together, things fall apart. That's team language. The Bible says that we are a family. In fact, the family in whom, in heaven and earth, everybody is named by the family of Jesus. Ephesians chapter 3. That's team language. A family working together for a common cause. Paul, when he was talking to the Ephesian elders in Acts chapter 20, reminded them, you shepherd the flock that is among you. Now that's a team language. It's a flock with shepherds, and they have to work together. If that team doesn't work, that church, that congregation will not work. That's team language. And in 2 Corinthians 6 in verse 1, Paul referred to those brethren and he said, we are workers together with Christ. That's team language. Because the workers are a team working for a common goal. We have a team here at Richmond. We are a team. And I'm going to win when we win. And every one of us individually, you can say that very thing. I win when we win. Now the question is, how? What's that about? Well, go to the passage that was read for us. Corinthians chapter 9. I want you to notice what Paul says to the Corinthian church about the team that even we are a part of. Notice, first of all, Paul said, I am an individual. That's true. And every one of us in this room is an individual. Well, notice what he said, though I am free from all men. In other words, I don't have to cater to every little thing that you want. And you don't have to cater to every little thing that I want. And I don't have to, and you don't have to just give up. I mean, we're individuals. That's what Paul said. I'm an individual, and I stand before God. Paul reminded the Philippians that you have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Philippians 2 and 10. So I'm free from all men. But then notice what he said. Yes, I'm an individual, but I'm an individual who's a part of a team. I made myself a servant to all. Paul is saying this, I decided I'm going to play on the team. I have decided that I'm going to do what I need to do to benefit the team. I made myself a servant. Why? So I can win more people. Paul wanted to win. That's a fact. But Paul wanted to win and help so many more to win. I want you to win yourself. I want to win. But I want to win and help others win too. So what did he say? Well, notice how he wrote it. He talked to 4 different groups. I decided I would be a Jew to win the Jews. Now, these are people who were born into Judaism. And he said, I'm going to be like them. I'm going to cater to them. I'm going to submit to them so that I can win them. There was a time in Paul's ministry when, in order to satisfy or to make a good environment for his preaching, he took a young man, Timothy, on a preaching tour. But he was circumcised, not because it was required by God, but because it gave an opening to those Jewish people to listen. On another occasion, he decided that he was going to follow some of the vows and oaths that these Jewish people had made. Didn't have to, but he did it for the opening, the teamwork. To those who are under the law, I've never really known who that group is. Did some research today. Probably these are the proselytes. These are people who were not born as Jews, but they decided to be Jews. They converted to Judaism. And Paul said, I was conscious of them too. And so I'm conscious of these people who were living by the Mosaic law, not because it was still in effect, but because I want to create an environment where I can help. Then he talked about those who are without law. That's familiar language from Ephesians 2 when Paul was writing and he said to those who are the Greeks, the Gentiles, you are without law to Christ. I think he was saying, I want to be conscious of the Greeks as well. If I want to teach them, and I want to help them, I want to submit to them. I'm going to be open to them. I'm going to listen even to them. And then he said to the weak. Seems like maybe these are the people who don't really have a desire for God. They're not sure about God. These are not the ones who are very spiritually gifted. And he says, I still want to be conscious of them. I have made myself a part of a team. Now, it is also possible that he is saying these four groups in the church who are all Christians now, but he is working with them to help them be spiritually mature so that we can all win together. I'm not sure if he's talking to people who have never obeyed the gospel and I want to convert them. Or these four groups of people have obeyed and I want to increase and strengthen them and do better, help them grow. Look at the last part of 22 into 23. I became all things to all men, that by all means I can save some. And then this, I do this for the gospel's sake, that I may be partaker of it with you. Paul said, I want to win when we win. And I am willing to give up my individuality to be a part of the team. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's not easy. That team I was coaching, we had all kinds of players on that team. Now, some of you, Kevin will certainly remember, we had this one guy, and when he crossed half court, that was his shot. That's just how it was. You better be ready, because when he's crossing half court, he's just as liable to shoot as he is to do anything. Good kid, very spiritually minded kid. Man, did I have to put a saddle on him and hold him back. Then we had this other one, about 6'9", but he just didn't have the motivation to go at it. And I always thought if that guy could combine with that first guy, he'd be in the NBA. The idea of taking disparate personalities and putting them together, it's tough. But that's what makes a team. Now, right here in this room, we have a team. And there are all kinds of personalities in this room. There are all kinds of concepts, attitudes, desires, talents. But in order to be a team, we have to do two things. We have to put to use what I am and can do. But number two, I have to set aside some things to cater to the team. I was kidding Austin past week. He was speaking on polishing the pulpit. Some of our people were down there. And I got a picture of him. And he was wearing a coat and tie. I'm going to tell you something. These young whippersnapper preachers, they ain't wearing coats and ties anymore. Just not. Doesn't make it wrong. They're just not wearing them. But I saw a picture of him and I texted back, I bet you're tired of wearing a tie. And he said, this is not my event. This is what they like, so I'm going to do it. He didn't have to. Some others didn't. But he chose to. That's what it's like to be on a team. To be on a team, sometimes we have to say, okay, I'll set this aside to do what the team wants. All the time remembering that I'm going to win when we win. I want to close with 3 ideas that illustrate how I win when we win. Number 1, I win through fellowship, and you help me, and we together help each other. So we win through fellowship. The first Christians, they were together in doctrine and fellowship. There was something about getting together. God wants us individually. He's told each one of us, I want you to assemble with the people of God, Hebrews 10 and verse 25. There's something about fellowship that I need to win. You think about how difficult it is. Have you ever, I've never, but maybe you have you ever been in a place where you were the only Christian? Can you imagine living and working someplace and there is no other Christian there? And you want to worship God? Well, you can. Right there in your hotel room or in your apartment, you can worship God. But are you telling me that that's the most ideal and best way to do it? There is something that we need through this fellowship, that as the team, we come together, we win through the fellowship. So I'm going to win because I'm going to get fellowship from you and you from me. We win through service. In Galatians chapter 6, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. I have an obligation as a part of my Christian service and as a part of my spiritual growth and being what God wants me to be, to help you bear your burdens. But if I don't help you, then I am less than I can and should be. I need a team. I need a team that I can help bear burdens with and who can help me bear my burdens. So if this team is bearing each other's burdens, I'm going to win because I'm growing, and you're going to win because you're growing. And finally, and there are so many more we could add, I'm sure, come up with your own list. I'm going to win through love. In Colossians 2 and 2, Paul encouraged those brethren to be knit together in love. knit together. Whenever I see that, I think about surgery. And I think about a surgery that has closed a hole, a gap. And it's easy for me to do because I got one right over here. And every now and then I look at that and I go, that guy did an amazing job. You can barely even see the scar that was left from him closing it and knitting it together. Can't see it. There was a big problem and he closed it up. That's what it means when Paul said, I want you to be knit together in love. If I don't have you to do that with, then I'm going to be missing something. It's one thing to love your enemies and love your neighbors who are not Christians, and we ought to do that, but there's something special about having a relationship with fellow Christians on a team who love each other. Now, what would you be missing if you didn't have that? What would we be missing if we didn't have that? I know this, that through our fellowship and our service and our love, we win. And as we win, I'm winning. And you're winning. Because we are a team. Think about that. Think about, are you an active part of this team? Are you a supportive part? Or maybe are you part of a cantankerous part of the team? Sort of rubbing raw on the side, causing a little difficulty because you're just not willing to give up self for the team. Think about it. As we close, tell you about my niece's son, 2 years old. And the other day, they'd come home from church, and he was asking his mom, now, preacher talked about heaven. I don't know if I got the story exactly right, but I've got it enough that I can tell it and make it a good story. Let's put it that way. Preacher talked about heaven. What's heaven? And she talked about how the Bible describes heaven. 2 years old. And when she finished, 2 years old, he said, I can't wait to see it. So, how about you? Can you hardly wait to see heaven? One of the ways you're going to get there is through the team. There are people who love Jesus. That's what they say. But they don't really think about his church. Well, if he's the head of the body, how can you love the head without not love the body? How can you love Jesus and not love his body, the church, and being a part of it, and being a team in it, and looking forward to the day that you get to see heaven with that win? Think about that tonight. Maybe we'll all be better team members if we think about that this week. Can we help you tonight? We'll be willing to do so as we stand and sing, if you'll let us know.
We hope that you enjoyed today's broadcast, brought to you by the Richmond Church of Christ. We are located at 1500 Lancaster Road in Richmond, Kentucky. We meet at 9 a.m. each Sunday morning for Bible class, followed by our morning worship service held at 10 a.m. Our Sunday evening service is held at 6 p.m. Our midweek Bible study is held on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We have Bible classes available for all ages on Sunday mornings and Wednesday evenings. If you are in the area, we would love to have you as our honored guest. If you're looking for a home church, we would love to make you part of our family here in Richmond. We hope this has been a blessing to you and pray that you have been strengthened and encouraged. Have a blessed day.